Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual you. Today, I would like to speak about the warmth of love and its deep, touching powers that allows us to truly feel warm and feel that we include and that we expand in a certain sense. We go outside of ourselves to include more than just our own inner being, and that's it. For we truly can, with our imagination, our thinking, which are in the whole full-on freedom of our own inner activity. Of course, we need to train and practice these things. But we start with the thoughts. The thoughts, as I always say, is where we start shaping and learning to utilize our thinking to, well, it depends on what we are using it for. Making our thinking mobile and in movement and infusing it with the warmth from our emotions. For when we come to appreciate and be grateful for our thinking, our gratitude for this thinking will come through our thinking. It is kind of like channeling up etherized blood to our thinking and enlivening it, ennobling it, uplifting it, making it more, the word for it is, I make myself more enthusiastic about anything I think about and become conscious about this thinking. We are constantly thinking, but depending on if we are focusing outside or inwardly, we are not necessarily aware of it. And our emotions constantly reflects up thinking. Thinking images, or based on what we do think about, maybe in language, although thinking in images and in active living pictures is far more informative than sentences alone, which is highly limiting when it comes to truly reflecting on things. But we have many tools and ways to do this. Of course, it is all about not necessarily constantly focusing on what is painful, what is ripping us down, but having this redemptive feeling of upliftment where we are fully capable of being more optimistic and hopeful, faithful, loving, nurturing. It is about a choice and about not allowing oneself to allow in too much forces of, let's say, complaint or the feeling of constantly ripping on something. For everyone can do that. That is an easy thing to do. It's almost like it comes out automatically. But to find the optimistic, to upliftment, we actually have to consciously go and find it. And that requires us to utilize our spirit. Our spirit is us that is thinking, that is feeling, that is directing will. And the more we come into this spiritual activity of we are utilizing our whole body being here, the more we come into what the spirit truly is. It is not our thinking, it is not our feeling, it is not our will, but the one behind utilizing this. Your personality, your I. The more you ennoble this I, making it so that it is healthy, strong and sturdy and confident within you, but at the same time including the outer world around us, the more we strengthen this connection to the higher worlds, to the hierarchy, to Father, to the Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And it truly is a deep feeling, and it has not only just joy and happiness, it also has a deep sense of sorrow and a lot of pains, but these things are what shapes us, what makes us human. The more we become and get to know who we are as individuals, our interests, our dislikes and antipathies, empathies and so on, the more we come to being able to direct ourselves without being insecure and unsure of what we're doing. We trust in the higher worlds and what we are being given from day to day. Of course, This is something we actively and constantly polish and strive for and struggle with. But in the end, it is each and every one of us individuals that choose to do this. Of course, many would deem this as just mundane and boring. But in the end, it will always lead to good and to inner mastery and to a certain amount of insight and, as I said, enthusiasm for the world. The more you can participate dynamically with this world, actively, consciously, cooperating with the outside from inside, allowing the beautiful, the true, the good, and the beautiful out, both in language, both in how we, well, in the way we walk, in the way we stand. It is in every area, in the practical sense. We try to make this spiritual science practical in the way that it doesn't become abstract and just symbols without truly knowing the deeper significance behind them, but to truly come into the understanding of what we perceive and enlivening the world again through our own soul and spirit. Becoming like a child again, becoming enthused by the world around us, by other individuals, by other human beings and other cultures, and the more we become curious about these things, the more we wish to learn. And there is never an end to this, and why would we want to have an end to it? Just already just remember anything that came to an end. It is far more sad than anything. But spiritual science is an ever ongoing unfoldment, a progress that is constantly unfolding itself to become more and more prominent in our lives. And when we have reached a certain peak, a new peak constantly, suddenly shows itself constantly. But we will have to have the patience and take one step at a time, for each individual has their own pace. We all are individuals with different karmas, different cultures, different lives we have been born into, we chose before we incarnated. And it is up to us as individuals to find out who are we, what can we do, what can we share with the world, what can we come to be able to help with. For there are certain things we are utterly useless in, and other things that we are immensely strong in. And it's about finding out what, and then cultivate it. For it will only remain a seed if we do not take the seed, nurturing it with love and compassion. And also taking that first step with courage, for if we do not take any step, we won't move anywhere. So, holding that faith, love, and hope moving forward, you have a certain amount of, I might not know the details and the bigger picture on everything, but I trust that I will come to know it moving forward, for we need to become used to not knowing a lot of things yet, but having the faith that we will be able to when we have developed enough to do so. We are such in a hurry to find out things now that we set into stone universalities and generalizations that truly doesn't correlate with reality, but instead finding actively through experience, through what comes out of this age, what is coming out, and to study the past ages and see what came out then, and how much we have become different since the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st post-Atlantean epoch. We have changed insanely much, immensely much. And the joy of knowing so, and knowing what changed in us and how we are to cultivate and uplift what our consciousness today presents to the spiritual again, is kind of the whole purpose and the joy of doing this. For once you have made contact and connection to the higher worlds, that door is opened. You will not lose it, and you constantly know your higher siblings watching over you, always constantly inspiring you to study, to become active, and consciously work and unfold what is within our soul and spirit. And that is what I will leave you with today. May you be protected, guided, blessed, and loved by Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, ancient masters of old, ancestors from every incarnation, and the higher hierarchy, and may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live, thrive, being creative, inspirational, and healing to the world, so others can follow when the time is ripe. So, may you be safe and sound, and I'll see you when the time comes. So, love you. Goodbye.